Today we've got a top of the table clash for you. Welcome to the Drone Champions League Race Day 5. And this is going to be a thriller. 10 teams, of course, in the DCL fighting for the World Championship of Professional Drone Racing Teams. And currently at the top, these two teams are facing off. It's the xBlades Drone Racing team first out of the UK with Shane, Yayu, Sali1 and Star 23467. One of the most famous lineups. This team, however, are brand new in 2023 and right at the top with them. They're the Ice Cheetah, Fluorescent, J-Box and Zion of Cyclone Racing. As well as that matchup, we're also going to enjoy the DCL Wildcard Team's battle. They're Vizzy, Zoom, Mr. Bogey and Flo Celli. And their opponents are Mach1, our all-female drone racing team, with their new pilot Callie and LaBeba, Steph and Hologram. Now these two matchups are at very different ends of our leaderboard. xBlades and Cyclone, something has got to give when they face each other in a moment, and the DCL Wildcard team would love to get a little further into the top 6. Mach1 would love to score some points. All of the matchups take place over 3 races, 2 versus 2, and then the other 2 pilots against each other. Then the big heat with all 8 of them racing at the same time. 4 points for a winner of all of those races, 3 for second, 2 for third, 1 point if you come in 4th. When the points from the 3 races have been added together and we work out who the winner is, they'll get 3 points on our season leaderboard, 1 point if it's a draw, nothing if you're the losing side. The track we're going to present to our pilots today, it's a new one in China, the beautiful town of Simitai, adjacent to the Great Wall of China where we raced in real life in 2018. And after those long section of block tray gates at the beginning, we have 2 split S's here on this bridge. Then we head over the trees to this cluster of rings here, a right and a hard 180 to the left. Dive down and then another slalom section coming up before this amazing Simitai gate, this traditional gate that we have near the Great Wall of China. Then we ladder up, turning to the left, and we ladder down, turning to the right. Swing round this pylon, watch out for any of the ground obstacles, corkscrew these 2 DCL gates, and back to the rooftops again as we head back towards the river. Dive down here, left through these 2 DCL gates, and then there's a long section coming up. Straight part there, over the top, and then a 180 here. And then over the top of Split S, and a 180 back the other way. And then it is pretty much a slalom run to the finish. Your opponents could be very visible just within touching distance. 3 laps to do. So let's go racing, everybody, with our top of the table clash. xBlades against Cyclone, Sali1 and Shane against Zion and the Ice Cheetah. So xBlades Racing, team out of the UK, they're racing in light blue, and our new team for 2023 who are performing so well, that's the purple team of Cyclone. And Shane has a small lead over his teammate Sali1, and together they have a very small lead over Zion and the Ice Cheetah. Let's see how a technical course like this, with a lot of 180s, is going to fare for everybody. Zion just nipping through the tightest part of the gate there. Keep your eyes peeled for that on the next 2 laps as well. And even with flying like that though, Shane and Sali1 are still smoothly out in front of the 2 Cyclone pilots. Here's the long line of some DCL gates, and Shane getting caught out on the first of the switchback moves there. That sent him to the back by 2.5 seconds. Zion here is second, and 1 second behind Sali1, the leader. Making nice work, doing long turns, had a quick through those. That split 1 was nice too. I was a little worried about one of the railings inside, but he hasn't hit that. Now we'll come to our cluster into the slaloms, and he's still a second behind Sali1, fractionally more than he was, and that's that excellent turn again. Laddering out and chasing Sali1 as hard as he can. His teammate is about 6/10 behind Zion. We're getting a great view here as he comes up to the river in Simitai. And there's Sali1 showing you how you do these little 180 switchbacks. Very nice. He is starting to pull away from Zion too. That gap now a little bit bigger than it was at this time on the previous lap, and this is the 3rd of the 3 that we're going to race. Let's see Sali1 split S over the top, out through, nicely done. It's tight and slightly quicker again than Zion has been. Now after this cluster here comes the Simitai gate. Let's see how tight he can get between the red poles. Look at that! That's as tight as you can do it. Anything Zion has done, Sali1 is trying to do as well. Corkscrew there is very good, and we're right near the end of this now. Zion has slipped to 2 seconds behind Sully 1. Alexander is showing us how to fly. Yeah, this is fantastic work from Sully 1, but with Shane down in 4th, they're going to get maximum 4 points for the win and 1 point for the last place.
Nice one, Sully.
That's my
Let's go,
fastest
boys.
time.
No points, baby. No points. I'll take
Let's
it.
go.
Sully won with the first win of this battle, but we knew it would be close between these two teams, and they're going to come out of that one 5 points each. Zion very much in the fight at the beginning and throughout most of those 3 laps as well. It was good, clean flying from him. Shane got caught early there on one of those 180s and really tangled in getting out of it, which is why he didn't manage to recover into the battle from that point onwards. Sully 1 wasn't perfect, as you can see there on the bottom of the ladders. But there was a lot that he can be very pleased with. And a good speed. Now, Star 23467 and Yayu will take on the other 2 pilots, J-Box and Fluorescent. And we got some big name pilots for their teams in this. Yayu and Star, amazing pilots. J-Box, brilliant for Cyclone. And I've cursed him into the bridge. A commentator's curse strikes me today. Yayu as well. Well, that's fair. 1 each, I suppose. So, Star 23467 is our current leader. Thomas Kund is racing in the front, and Fluorescent, the new pilot for Cyclone, is trying to get him in second, and Yayu. Now, this is a thing. I say what a great pilot he's been for xBlades, and it's true, but there are some tracks where he performs way below his best. And perhaps this one is the kind of arrangement and obstacles that Yayu doesn't get on with so well. Let's see how he carries on. He needs to catch Fluorescent to try and score some more points for xBlades and separate these 2 teams. Fluorescent through the block trades. This is nicely done. The last one's got him. Oh, it was quick. And he is staggering from there. Look how wobbly it is, and yet he's managed to keep it going. We've jumped to Yayu now, who you can see is much closer to Fluorescent than he was. So we're getting the chase on now. Into the gate. The Scimitar gate, both of Yayu and Fluorescent really close together. Yayu just ahead of him into the ladders. Star is a second ahead of both of them and exiting now. He heads to the rooftops. This is Fluorescent in 3rd, chasing Yayu for the position he had. And they're both a bit closer to Star than they were. Oh, Fluorescent will be feeling a rush of blood now. 2nd and 1st. He can see them and they're getting ever closer. Weaving through the block trades. Fluorescent can't get caught out on the last one of these like he did last time. Yayu follows his teammate into the bridge and is really slow at getting out of there. Fluorescent has got away from him now. Yayu can't see anybody. Take a quick look at Star, who's out in front. He can't see anybody either. That's exactly what he wants, though, as he finds his way through the columns on this last lap. That's nice laddering work. Still caught screwing without vision of anybody trying to catch him. He doesn't know about all the chaos that's been going on behind him. Let's take a look at some of it from Yayu's perspective now as he chases Fluorescent down the tunnels and into here with Fluorescent out of his vision. He's got past him. I think Fluorescent overshot it by a little bit more. It's only a 1/10 of a second between 2nd and 3rd, but this is the end. Yayu with the win!
Let's go. Yes!
No, nice try, Neon.
Such a bad run. I had like 4
Oh, it's okay.
It's all good, man.
Yayu takes the win not just from Fluorescent, but from his teammate Star as well. J-Box was never really in that battle, which is a disappointment as he's such a quick pilot for Cyclone. Yayu getting caught above the roofs of Scimitar a little. Yayu also got a little stuck on the ladders in the first lap. And like Yayu, Fluorescent was quick, even with a little catch there. Still managed to be in the fight throughout that race. Here's Yayu just getting past him and somehow getting on the inside of Star, who just weaved a little and conceded the win. So it was a 1st and 2nd for xBlades at 7 points to 3 in the scores. Big heat time, all 8 pilots. Let's take a look through the block trade tunnels with J-Box, who's hit one early. And oh no, that one has really sent him out. He's now nearly 3 seconds behind so early in this race, and he's such a quick pilot. He'll try and fight back, but that's probably a little too much to do. It's xBlades pilots in top 5 positions, now all top 4. All of the points heading to them if that was to continue. But I'm sure the Ice Cheetah and Zion, as well as Fluorescent and perhaps J-Box, have got something to say. There's a massive gap between 4th and 5th already, though. The xBlades pilots are cleanly getting away. Look at this bit of formation, flying in and out. Nicely done along the slaloms. Few different routes. You can see some of them higher or wider than others. Whatever works they think best for speed through corners. This is Yayu in second, chasing Shane, his teammate, with a 1/10 of a second between them. They both go up, split S through, and then nicely turned to come back out again. Shane just fractionally further ahead of Yayu than he was. Sully 1 and Star, all within 6/10 of a second of each other. The closest one to them is the Ice Cheetah for Cyclone, who tries to get between the railings of the Scimitar Gate and has lost even more time. There was a second between these teams. Oh, it's got worse. There's now 3 seconds between the best of Cyclone at the moment, Fluorescent, and Star 23467, who's in the 1-point scoring position of 4th place. He's just been left a little bit by his teammates, as you can see. At the front, it's very much a race between Yayu and Shane. Sully not too far behind it either, but look at this gap before Cyclone get anywhere near. Onto the final lap too. These are quick races. Shane trying to catch Yayu, would like to get the 4 points. As long as it goes to xBlades, that's the main thing as far as they're concerned. And we knew, as I said earlier, that we were expecting a close race between xBlades and Cyclone. This big heat is not demonstrating it. This looks like it could be a clean sweep for the light blue xBlades team. They might get all 10 points out of this big heat. Oh, Shane, on the straighter part of this section, just didn't line up for that gate at all. That's put him back in a 3rd. Yayu is a clear 2nd out in front. It's going to be maximum points for xBlades. They go 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Yes. Nice times as well, boys.
What a statement by the xBlades racing team. Clearing all the points in the big heat and sending Cyclone out of this battle. 22 points to 8. That's a massive victory for them. J-Box really didn't function in those races at all. Fluorescent getting caught up here on the roofs. Zion, so quick for the team, we barely mentioned him. Fluorescent getting tagged on the roof of the gate there on one of the straighter corkscrew bits before the really difficult exit. Zion rattling around between some gates. The best one of them was the Ice Cheetah in that big heat. He gets caught on the Scimitar Gate exit. Tries to recover from there, look, and loses him a whole load of time, and into the ladder. And again into the ladder. Yayu clean out in front at the end, no problem. Maximum points in the big heat. Well done to xBlades Racing, putting their new, extremely close rivals to the sword. 22 points to 8, but we'll see Cyclone bounce back from that, I'm sure. That wasn't their best flying. Let's see what happens in our other matchup today. The Wildcard Team against Mach1. It's going to kick off with Flochelli and Zoom against LeBaba and Steph. And Mach1, the all-female drone racing team, are in light blue. LeBaba into a block trade gate very early. That's unfortunate. This quick pair of pilots, but rocking and rolling. That's Flochelli and his teammate Zoom in red for the Wildcard Team. The DCL Wildcard Team are a hand-picked team of pilots who've demonstrated over time how good they are in the draft and wanted to get a chance to get to fly for one of our professional teams. They get picked to put in the Wildcard Team to give the other teams a chance to show what they can do. That's a beautiful shot of how everybody was taking that corkscrew. Zoom is currently out in front of Flochelli, and we've seen Zoom generally be a quicker pilot than Flochelli in previous races since they joined here in 2023. LeBaba and Steph are pretty close together. Here's Zoom into the block trade section on the 2nd lap. Big sweeping turns for Flochelli as well as he tries to stay with him, but there's 2.5 seconds between the two teammates. That was the bit that messed it up for Flochelli on the 1st lap. He's clean through it on lap number 2. Heading to the rings and the cluster here. And now let's take a look at the Scimitar Gate and how he's going to approach particularly the exit of that. The corkscrew is wide and the exit is all clean and no problems, but not as fast as if you dart between those red railings. So that shows you the edges our professional pilots will try and take for speed. Now Flochelli's just getting a little bit twitchy over the rooftops. It's not very quick and clean over here, and LeBaba from Mach1 is gaining on him. Let's see her. She was 2 seconds behind him and more. Now she is within about half a second of him and aggressively attacking those 180s. The chase is on. LeBaba coming for them. Starting lap number 3. Just slipping underneath Flocelli into second place. That is tremendous flying. And Flocelli just slips back in front of her as well. Pressure on for both of these pilots now. They've got to keep it together as they whiz in and out of each other's peripheral vision. And Lebeba and Flocelli, there's less than 100th of a second between them. Now Lebeba just slightly cleaner out in front. Here comes all the really difficult gates, and Flocelli's in the top of the first one. If Lebeba threads this ladder and gets away, I don't think you'll see her again. Lebeba just making that corkscrew. It almost looked like she mistook it for one of the 180 switchbacks, but that's a corkscrew you have to go over and come around. Lebeba now with 5 seconds between her and Steph as Flocelli has dropped from 3rd to 4th. Zoom comfortably out on a win and a big lead of over 8 seconds. But Lebeba and Steph for Mach1 are going to take 2nd and 3rd.
Congrats, guys.
Wow!
Nice.
I was 2 times too tight, and my drone sucked into this.
Great flying by Zoom, untroubled in the lead. That's a great result for Mach1, who make that little race 5 points all with their 2nd and 3rd places. And for fans at DCL who've been watching Mach1 since they started earlier on in 2023, that is very important to see, as they were struggling so much for points before. They've taken a few out of this. We did also hear Flocelli complaining that he just couldn't handle the drone. They had a few issues towards the end. Let's see if Mr. Bogey and Vizzy can get away from the new pilot Callie and Hologram. Quick start, and away we go. Mr. Bogey and Vizzy for the Wildcard Team. Vizzy is just, wow, rocking and rolling. That was a very slow start, and yet he finds himself in 3rd, with Mr. Bogey, who we're looking at here, in 2nd. Hologram behind them both, and the new pilot Callie for Mach1 is over a second away in the lead. Now this is a good statement from a new pilot. She finds her way up the ladder. It could be a little bit smoother. Oh, and one of the lampposts in the courtyard of all of the things. She finds herself now just 0.2 of a second behind Mr. Bogey and just moving alongside him. That's not going to last. Now she'll try and take him on the inside of this turn. We've got a real race on in lap number 1 as they both weave through one of the switchbacks. Go through here and head out of the second, and Callie tries to get away, but Mr. Bogey just caught her on that turn. She went a little bit wider. He slipped through on the inside. There's less than 1/10 of a second between them. We start lap number 2. Mr. Bogey and Callie so close together. Split S-ing here. Callie a little slower on the way back through it. She was so quick over the top of it, but that was good flying. Mr. Bogey still just in front of her. Let's see if the cluster can do anything for these pilots. Callie's got mixed up on the rings and now lost 2 seconds to Mr. Bogey. That's a big surprise. She needs to be a bit quicker on the climb on that ladder. And it's all gone unravelled on the way back down. Oh, after such a strong start. Now it's getting messier still in the courtyard. Maybe that lamppost playing on her mind as well. Oh! Callie's one of the new pilots through the DCL draft. Very quick pilot for Mach1. Was really fighting at the start of this race. But now we're on to lap number 3 of 3 with Mr. Bogey and Vizzy both a few seconds ahead of Hologram. And Callie will be disappointed to find herself back in 4th place. Mr. Bogey over the rooftops, into the rings, a little bit twitchy. You can see just a little bit of a turn and a bit more of a turn. It's not one big smooth continuous work. And he was around the poles but really close to them. And look, there you can see the ascending, and descending of the ladder was one sort of fluid motion, but the exit didn't quite work. It's very swingy, not very clean. Going to loop round this tree now and come up to this section. There's the first of the 180s, over the top split S here in the second. Weave between the trees. He's lost a second of time over Vizzy. But they're both the Wildcard Team coming in 1st and 2nd.
Get it together.
Hey, nice race, guys.
I know, I kept hitting stuff. I was getting nervous because I glanced down. I'm like, why is my name first? And then
Let's go, girls.
hit stuff.
So Callie was surprised to find herself in the lead, and that put her off for a moment. Well, I think we'll see her in the lead of some other races in the future as she gets more experience in the DCL. Here's Vizzy, who really got stuck early on. He missed that block trade gate, had to come around for it. And you've got plenty of vision on those, so that's a bit of a surprise. Callie on the ladder here had to sort of find their way up. The downwards part was a little better, and then that lamppost just caught her out of nowhere. And the battle with Mr. Bogey was so exciting. Look what happened in the cluster. She heads for this ring and turns before it. Didn't actually go through, and that's what lost her the 2 seconds. In the big heat, everybody needs to shake off any little problems or concerns or things that tripped them up in their respective 2v2s. Flocelli into the block trade gates at the beginning. Oh, that's caught him out. Callie is finding her way into the split S's in a much faster position. She's in third. She's leading the other Mach1 pilots again. And it's that Mr. Bogey in front of her in the rooftops again. She made the gate. Now she's heading to the Scimitar gate and up and over. And the exit from that is nice and clean. What about the ascent here? That's better too. And the descent is better as well. Callie very much in the fight in third. Ahead of her, Mr. Bogey by a couple of tenths of a second. And Vizzy a little ahead of him. But right behind Callie is Zoom. You can see he's just moved past her as we go through these DCL tunnels. Hologram in the fight as well. Callie still in third. In front of her, Mr. Bogey. Going to chase him through the block trade tunnel. Through all these 8 gates. And sweep down for the split S here. 1 and then underneath and out again. And she's moved a little closer to Mr. Bogey. And past him into second place. Swings, a little bit of correction needed, little hesitation. That's let Mr. Bogey get back up into second. And Zoom is trying to slip past Callie into third as well. The rest of the team, they're all 5 seconds and more behind. So's Flocelli for the Wildcard team. So Callie is out on her own. Zoom had a problem, drops back. He's now into fourth. Mr. Bogey is trying to get back in front of Callie as he did earlier. I feel like this is a stronger section for Callie from Mach1. And Mr. Bogey tries to slip on the inside as he heads into that block trade gate very obliquely. Real tight corners here. It's not particularly smooth. There's a lot of kind of fighting it as he goes. And he's got caught on the roof of the split S. And slower still. Which is the exit? Which is the entrance? He has no idea which way he's going. That happens. Some of these obstacles can get ever so confusing under race pressure like that as well. And they are extremely difficult courses to learn. And we only give our pilots half an hour to do it in. So Zoom is in third. He could still catch this pilot, Callie, in second. And she's got 2 seconds to make up on the leader. So it looks like Vizzy may be too far away. And yes, Zoom just zipped across her vision, just giving her something to think about on these 180s. He has come to join her and got in front of her. This is your leader, Vizzy, coming in to secure first. And Zoom gets second place, just in front of Mach1's Callie. What an exciting race that was. Fourth place is just making it now. That's Flocelli.
Yeah, I messed up really bad.
Vizzy with 4 points to his tally, and the Wildcard team getting a lot of points out of the big heat. So Flocelli had a difficult start in the block trade gate. He was nearly too high at that point, hit that one, had to recover and go up here. He's nearly too high for this one, swings around that one, just about gets it back under control and then gets hit here. That's also where Mr. Bogey had some troubles, as we saw, but he did the right thing in making sure he secured the gate. If you think you've missed part of it, go and do the whole thing, otherwise it doesn't count. And Callie, in this amazing battle with Zoom, throughout all the way to the end. She's just on the inside on this corner. This 180 is really good, but she catches the bottom of this one. Just there. And that's Zoom just nudging ahead of her at the very end. So it is a win for the Wildcard team, and they'll take 3 points to the season leaderboard from there. 20 points to 10 is how it finished after Zoom and Flocelli tied with LeBaber and Steph, but after that a few points got away from the women's team. As well as xBlades' strong result there, the big shock is China Dragons beating the reigning world champions and Split 1 champions Raiden, 21 points to 9. With that win, it moves them all the way up into second place. xBlades pull a little ahead of their man Cyclone after their win earlier, and the Wildcard team move up into 6th. In the next episode, we'll see if China Dragons can repeat such a great performance when they take on STT Perpetuum Coin, and Haven get their roster together and they fight against xBlades. I'm Matt Andrews. Thanks for watching the Drone Champions League. We'll see you in the skies.